Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, very quickly, Ms. Thornton, would you commit to us that if confirmed, any recommendations you give regarding the Trafficking in Persons report will be based solely on a country's efforts to combat trafficking and not other unrelated factors?
Yes, if confirmed, I can certainly say that.
Thank you very much. Ms. Thompson, there's some suggestion that we're going to have the possibility of a new 123 agreement with Saudi Arabia. Do you believe the gold standard should be implemented in any such agreement?
Thank you, Senator. I think we should always set our standards to meet the highest standards for the United States.
So in this case, the gold standard would be the higher standard. Is that a fair statement?
That is the standard in the community. Again, not privy to the conversations, but always want to work to the highest standards we can get.
All right. What we don't need is a rush to nuclear power in a tinderbox of the world. And so that's why the gold standard is so important. Mr. Fannon, I don't want you to feel left out of my affection. So let me ask you this. We talked yesterday about some of your past work and regarding your recusal from certain issues, and you noted in our meeting yesterday that you believe there would be a way for the ethics team to carve out some of your involvement. Have you been able to get any further clarity on that? Because I'm trying to figure out what is it that you're carving out.
Yes, thank you for the time yesterday, Senator, and thank you for your attention to the question. If confirmed, I can pledge to work diligently with the ethics attorneys and follow their instruction to the letter with respect to recusals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I appreciate that, and that's a good answer to start off with, but I'm going to want to know exactly what ethics is talking about in terms of carve-outs. Is it company-specific? Is it policy sectors? Because obviously there's a big difference. There's a big difference between carving yourself out from a specific company's involvement in which state and your particular position of ENR would involve, or whether there's a policy issue that would be involved. So I hope we can get that answer so we can move your nomination along. Let me ask you this. As a lobbyist for Murphy Oil, you lobbied against my bills in the 111th and 12th Congress to hold oil companies accountable for disasters they cause. So as you're promoting energy across the globe, what degree of responsibility do you believe oil companies should bear for disaster mitigation when they cause a spill or disaster?
Yes, thank you for the question, Senator. We had the opportunity to discuss that bill, that legislation, and during our discussion, I commented that I laud the spirit in which it was offered to make sure that to hold polluters to account. The situation with that bill, and we discussed it in particular, but more broadly to your question, I believe, as I spoke to in my opening, that transparency is critical, and a part of that is to have clearly delineated accountability measures.
So is it fair to say that if you mess up, you clean up?
Yes, Senator.
All right. Now, there's a lot of emphasis about fossil fuels with the administration, but your department's stated objective under the State Department also talks about renewable energy sources as part of that. Are you committed to the department's statement of its own purposes as it relates to ENR's mission globally?
Yes, Senator, thank you for the question. My understanding of the Bureau, and as you read it to me during our meeting, is that they're agnostic as to fuel source, and they're there to support delivery of energy and to support U.S. firms, et cetera, but in terms of the type of source, it's agnostic.
Well, my understanding from reading the statement is that it's not necessarily agnostic. It's not agnostic if you say the pursuit of alternative energy and energy efficiency and greater transparency and accountability in the energy sector. The pursuit of something is not agnostic. It is actually a proactive word. Yes,
Senator. I was speaking in terms of it's truly an all-of-the-above approach, is my understanding of the Bureau's work. Mm-hmm. And so there wouldn't be a weighted measure of one fuel source over another.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a series of other questions. I'll submit it for the record. I look forward to your answers. Thank you all.